A hammer does not build a house. A carpenter builds a house. The hammer just makes the carpenter more efficient. But a person who has never built anything, if you just pick up a hammer, you're just a dude with a hammer, not a carpenter. AI marketing tools have become some of the most powerful hammers in the marketing industry ever created. And right now, companies are selling these tools that go way further than a person could have at the same time. They're selling the whole toolbox, preloaded, automated, promising to handle everything your marketing team needs from end to end so you can focus on running your gym. And some of what they're saying is useful, and some of it is set you up for the most expensive mistakes that a small business owner can make. So today we're going to talk about how to know the difference. My name is Collin Charles. This is Enoch Marketing, and let's get into it. Before we get into the platforms, we're going to talk about two ideas that frame everything. First is Nicholas Carr. He's a technological writer, and he created a book called The Shallows in 2010. He made an argument that has only gotten more relevance since the explosion of AI a few years ago. When we outsource our thinking to technology, we eventually lose the capacity to do what thinking has done over time. AI is efficient in the short term, but causes a great dependency in the long term. He writes, "As we have come to rely on computers to mediate our understandings of the world, it is our own intelligence that flattens into artificial intelligence." Let that sit in for a second. My dad oftentimes used the word enshittification because our own ability to think and process is being decreased by our dependence on artificial intelligence. The second principle is much older. George Fuchsell, an IBM programmer from the 1950s, coined the term that we now use, garbage in, garbage out. And the output of any system is only as good as the input. AI does not change this. It amplifies it. With better foundations going in, better results come out. When you go in with weak strategy, all you get is polished, well-formatted, confidently delivered shit. Hold on to both of those in your mind, because they are the lens through which every end-to-end marketing AI platform needs to be evaluated. So what are these platforms? End-to-end AI marketing platforms are companies selling a complete automated marketing solution. One platform, one easy-to-read dashboard, one monthly fee. And the promise that covers content creation, scheduling, ad management, audience targeting, analytics, and sometimes even client communication, all handled automatically by one AI. The pitch sounds like this. Give us all your accounts, tell us a little about your business, and we will handle the rest. The marketing runs on autopilot while you focus on coaching your athletes and running your gym. It is very attractive. But let's be honest about what these platforms actually deliver, because the answer is not all good and it's not all bad. So, what it's good at? Speed at scale. An AI platform can produce 50 ad variations to test across different audiences in an hour. A human creative team takes days. Consistency. The AI does not have days off. It doesn't forget to post, and it does not go dark for 2 weeks because life got busy. For gym owners who struggle with the mistake of consistency and they're posting on vibes, the automated platform can remove that human inconsistency issue. Budget optimization. The better platforms connect directly to Meta or Google account, and they can automatically shift spending toward performing ad sets and away from underperforming ones. When the underlying campaign is already working, that's genuinely valuable. Consolidated reporting. Most platforms pull your data from multiple sources into one clean dashboard. For an owner who finds native metadata and native Google data interfaces overwhelming, this simplified reporting layer has a real value. Now on to the weaknesses. They amplify whatever strategy you give them. And if your strategy is wrong, they execute the wrong strategy more consistently and at a greater scale. And at an end-to-end platform, this does not diagnose a strategy problem. It accelerates it. Garbage in, garbage out is automation at speed. And they're generic by default. The content that these platforms produce without significant customization sounds like it has been written by every gym and no gym simultaneously. If you remember from episode 6, we went over this concept of the ICP, Ideal Customer Profile. If you remember from episode 8, you need your brand voice. And from episode 4, the emotional triggers that tend specifically to your audience. You have to know all of those things. You have to be able to put those in order for the AI to work properly. That doesn't go in automatically. Next, they create a dependency without understanding. It's similar to Carr's argument from earlier. If you hand an entire marketing operation to a platform and it manages everything automatically, you never develop the judgment to know when it is working, why it's working, or what to do when it stops. You get the right backseat in your own marketing. And of course, the executive strategy. They don't create it. These platforms promise to handle strategy well as execution and are overselling. The audience selection, the offer consultation, the creative direction, the brand positioning, all of that still requires you, the human, to understand the business and how to communicate that. The AI can handle all of the repetitive work, but the thinking is still yours. Naturally, this is just for fun, cost versus value at a small scale. For a CrossFit gym, spending $500 to $1,000 a month on ads, which even sounds like a lot, $300 to $500 for a platform monthly is a fee that's going to cut into your ad spend. And that's going to take a significant percentage. Either you're going to take a large cut or you're going to have to add that on top. At scale, understanding these tools and running them yourself is going to produce a better return on investment than paying a platform to manage that specifically. Lastly, this is just my opinion. I think AI marketing platforms work great if you're selling a product. Like the last one I saw was a key pick. Don't ask about my algorithm. Or like fruit chews, anything of the sort. But if you're selling a service, which you are as a CrossFit gym, it becomes very difficult for the AI to be able to communicate the value of that service to your audience. So, in summary, end-to-end AI marketings are genuinely powerful for business. And they have already figured out what works and what they want to scale it when it comes to efficiency. But they are expensive. And they're going to be a more expensive mistake if you don't have the fundamentals in place. The gym owner who has worked through this entire series, who understands their ideal candidate profile, their brand story, their campaign sequence, their key metrics, that person can handle the execution and the tasks and the understanding that needs to get a real value out of these end-to-end marketing businesses or marketing tools. But if you're going in with it saying, oh, I'll just use this end-to-end marketing tool, you're really setting yourself up for failure because you do not have the background to be able to execute it. The gym owner who buys the platform hoping is going to figure out all of their marketing for them is going to spend a lot of money and get a lot of automated activity that does not produce results. Because the platform is a hammer and the strategy is the carpenter. And no platform, no matter how sophisticated, has ever replaced a carpenter yet. So, let's get into your supporting arsenal. Now, AI gets to be a little bit weird. It's a very hot button topic. I wouldn't say that I'm an AI optimist. I would say I'm an AI realist because I'm neither positive nor negative. I just think that up front it's going to be bumpy. And as we're figuring out this Wild West stage, I think we're doing more short-term damage than we need to in the name of trying to get the biggest pay cut up front. I think the next couple months are going to be very rough as the AI bubble is starting to wobble. And I would be very concerned for anybody who is using an AI end-to-end marketing platform, because those platforms will eventually go away, primarily because there's so much in the market that does what AI does, that as crazy as we're thinking about us versus the machine for like positions and jobs, the machine also has to compete against every other machine who can do a similar thing for a lesser cost. And ultimately, over the course of time, that's gonna, one, pop the bubble. We're probably gonna end up with some form of government regulation of AI, especially if you've been following Thomas Massey out of Kentucky and how they used AI to create a deep fake where it seemed like he was sleeping with two other Congress people. Invariably, that's going to happen. And the costs of AI are going to, let me not say the costs of AI are going to go down. So there will always be free alternatives that drop the price. And we're seeing that a little bit with ChatGPT. I'm way down a rabbit hole, but we're seeing that a little bit with ChatGPT because there's a lot of other AIs that will do it without a paywall. I'm not an optimist or a pessimist. I just think it's going to be a bumpy road for a little bit while we figure this out. I digress. Now, separate the end-to-end platforms, there are individual tools that are worth knowing. These are not automated marketing systems. They're just tools that do specific jobs. And in the hands of someone who understands the fundamentals, they're genuinely transformative. Now, as a young company and a company that is, there's three of us, Tala and Raphael, you'll meet them over time. They handle a lot of the AI stuff that I don't handle. I use it more for scripts, augmenting, discussion, checking, things of the sort. But we're going to get into our full technology stack. So, first off is Claude by Anthropic. We use that for the writing and the strategy of scripts. We do web copy, funnel strategy, content planning, strategic thinking. And it is strongest, this one's good when you want to have a lot of context to give it. Of course, now, as we discussed, I got 2 degrees in business and I got certifications to do stuff. So I've been able to pour a lot into Claude, and as a result, it gives a lot back. ChatGPT, it's good for writing and research. Captions, ad hooks, brainstorming, personas. It's a quick copy, and it's good for tasks and ideation. It's very similar to Claude in that way. I would consider those two, in some ways, rivals. Canva. This one's great for AI design, graphics, social templates, branded content, all visual content, ads, posts, etc. Tala handles the upfront with Canva. She's great at it. Raphael does as well, but he uses the Claude more for the coding and the background. So all of our websites, all of that, we got a lot of that from Claude Code, and it's come out beautifully. OpusClip, I use that for the editing in these videos. So I could take this clip, this video will probably be like 28 minutes. I could drop that into OpusClip, it'll cut it up, and then we could repurpose that across all of our platforms, and then we also use it for ad creatives when we push videos and stuff. Suno. Suno is music generation, and it is super fun. It is what I've really just got into enjoying that one simply because I think it's cool. There is a whole discussion to be had about what music does in society, why we have music, and the complications that come with having an AI just creating something out of nowhere. I'm digressing again, but Suno's interesting, and that's a very deep conversation we need to have, because I think that music is deeper to the human connection than we want to give it credit for. I digress. Revid. So Revid and Kling, these are for video generation. I like Revid because you can take the same song out of Suno, drop it in Revid, and it'll make a video for it. Kling puts you like little short 5-minute segments or 5-second segments that you can put together into a B-roll. Both of those are very useful. So the difference between these tools that we use, and as you could tell, I forgot one, Descript. I use Descript, I actually record on Descript, and it helps me cut out the ums. It lets me come out the ums, and every time I mess up, which is often. And as you could probably tell, I'm working on a teleprompter, and the teleprompter is through another AI called Focusy. So we get to be one of the companies that is leveraging AI to the maximum of our own capacity, and we've learned a lot, we've grown a lot, and the benefit of that is that it gets us further faster, and the benefit to you of that is that we can drop our price significantly because we don't have to pay the overheads and whatnot, and we can do a lot more. Giving you a just straight up, I was talking to another company to do marketing, which seems weird that you would have a marketing company doing marketing, but I just wanted to see what they offer, what we offer, just doing some reconnaissance. And they were charging $30,000 for 6 months. $30K. And there's a discussion to be had around that, right? Because I have a thesis around price gouging. I'm digressing so much in this video. But because we use so many AIs, we can bring that price down from 30,000 to 10. And even then, our prices are still negotiable because we only do custom packages. So of that $10,000, really the most of that is spent on ad spend. So if you wanted to do less, we could do that. And we're only able to do that because we have been able to leverage our abilities and understanding and working with AI so that we can bring the prices down. Shameless plug, a digression upon a digression. In a perfect world, and y'all will see this over the course of all of these videos, I'm deeply humanist, and which I guess makes me an AI pessimist. But I would like to have hired more people, and I would like to have more people on the team, but it's going to take building and working and all of these things before we get there. So when you see this video, mark it, put it on the thing, and you'll know that when we get there, I said it here first. So, my thoughts. I just gave you the whole stack and everything that we do. So let me show you exactly how we use AI at Enoch. And we really broke this down already. We do use Claude. It's the AI by Anthropic. The scripts, web copy, all of these things, Revid, Kling, OpusClip, and the stacks that we use replaces what would have been a copywriter, a graphic designer, a video editor, a music licensing budget, and a content strategist, and an editor. So all of that is available at any hour. AI is producing output within minutes of a prompt. And that drives our prices down and makes us more available for the customer. Now, a bit of transparency. The script that you're reading right now, it was written by Claude. I used Claude to write it. I did. The website was built by using Claude code and putting those pieces together. The funnel was developed also by using Claude and Go High Level. 13 of these episodes, the frameworks, the personal stories, the marketing examples. Psych, that was me. The academics is my stuff. This is the stuff that we studied going through school. All of these personal stories are true stories. These marketing principles are the principles that I found to be important. And I took all of those things, as I said, and I put them all into AI, essentially saying, this is my brain, this is my thoughts. Help me organize this in a way that makes it coherent. And that's why if you go back, watch all of the videos, you'll find that they always follow a very specific cadence. And that is part of the ability that AI does. It makes things a lot easier when it comes to things like organization. And they got a pretty good my voice, my thoughts, all of that's me. The organization, some of the creation of scripts, that's the AI. And by working the two together, you don't lose me, so to speak. I can just produce more of what I'm trying to say faster. Now, Claude doesn't know about Damasio. It doesn't know about Peterson. He does, but if it's a he, it doesn't have the $22,000 bank account story or the time that I lost $250,000 doing a bad business thing. All of that is the stuff that I provided. And the AI provided speed and structure. I provide the strategy, the experience, the voice, and that is why I use individual tools, because it gives me the control rather than using an end-to-end AI platform that just makes it autopilot. Because my voice, my framework, my client stories, those things can't be automated. You can never automate human experience or learning. They can be supported, they can be accelerated, but they can't be replaced. And the moment I hand that judgment to a platform, I lose the thing that makes Enoch Marketing different than other marketing agencies. It's no longer human. So, we have talked about the uncanny valley. One thing before we move on to this, there's a line with AI. This has become more of a discussion of AI, its uses, and its ethics than it has like, how do you not do this? One thing that we got to get into though, there's a line in AI marketing content that doesn't really get talked enough. And it's around the area of UGC, right? And that is user-generated content. Still images that are generated by AI, graphics, backgrounds, visual elements. Those are genuinely great. High quality, widely applicable. No one is deceived by a well-designed graphic. I'm fine with that. But AI-generated user experience videos is a different conversation. You've seen them. It's a video where it's almost always a really attractive woman. Because it's marketing. A video that is showing someone using a product, clicking through an app, experiencing a service, interacting with someone that was generated before a single real person has used it. That is just wrong on so many levels. And I will tell you why it's wrong. Because it's fundamentally a lie. You can get the AI to say anything, referring back to the Thomas Massey case earlier. It's a lie. Don't use AI to lie. It's judgment. Judgment and shame. That's almost the uncanny valley, because audiences now, we're so skeptical to AI generated content that we become sensitive to what feels right and feels wrong. People can't always name what's wrong, but you know when it's wrong. We spent episode 10 talking on social proof. Real proof. Authentic evidence of real experiences. User-generated AI videos, AI UGCs that are manufactured social proof, they look like evidence, but they're not evidence. They're the simulation of evidence, which is some Big Brother 1984 stuff. And when people get a sense of that, even without being able to articulate it, your trust erodes. And for good reason. Some end-to-end platforms generate this kind of content automatically as part of their service. And that is the point where the tool stops being a hammer and starts being a liability. The use of AI for production speed and using AI for creative assistance, augmentation, we're for that. But do not use AI to manufacture experiences that have not happened. Don't lie. Stop lying. And that's a tool problem. It's not a tool problem, it's an ethics problem. And you know what? I've been so bummed out about this. I'm actually stopping the teleprompter to talk about this issue of lying. Because this is a marketing agency. And we live in a society and a culture where everyone is so desperate to get ahead, and we see lies left and right. It's like the media is always lying to us, and our leaders are always lying to us, that it becomes the temptation for all of us to just lean in on the lie and put our faith in it. Don't do it. I just told you that I use Anthropic to make scripts. I told you that we didn't have a lot of social proof. I told you where we failed. You know what? There's nothing else to tell. I'm not telling you where I live. That'd be weird. But the lie only amplifies the destruction that follows. And as soon as you tell a lie, you no longer have control of that lie. That lie has control of you. And if you want to be anywhere doing any business, you have to understand your reputation means everything. And you don't want the reputation of a liar. You want the reputation of the person who, at worst, didn't have the ability, didn't know what they were doing, didn't have XYZ figured out, and they owned it, and they went to go fix it. I understand that I'm going to mess up as a leader. I understand that eventually Enoch Marketing is going to have certain flaws, but we'll do everything in our power to make it right. The one thing we cannot, under any circumstance, and with no amount of money, can ever afford is a lie. And as we have grown into this AI world, the ability to lie and to lie convincingly has never been so tangible. As you can tell, I'm way off of the teleprompter. Resist the temptation to lie. Because those who are lying and those who have been in lies must at some point pay the price for their deceptions. And not only will they, but all of us along with them. As you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about this. We're going to mention it again in episode 15 for the wrap up. That's 2 episodes away. Please stay tuned. Now, I'm going to restart the teleprompter and get back to section 3, why you should care. So, there's 5 questions that you need to ask before buying any AI platform. If you are a CrossFit gym owner and someone is selling you an end-to-end AI marketing platform, here are the 5 questions I want you to ask before you spend $1. Question 1, what strategy does it start with? If the answer is, tell us about your business and we will build your strategy, that's a red flag. Strategy requires understanding your ideal customer profile, your brand voice, your competitive positioning, and your campaign sequence. No platform builds that from a short intake form. If they can't show you exactly what strategic decisions the AI makes and why, you're buying automation without direction. You wouldn't buy a car that drives itself and not be able to tell it where to go. So, can I see examples like, the question you need to ask, can I see examples from a business like mine? It likely will show you something in fitness. You don't want to do something that's broadly fitness, nothing that's broadly just small business. You need a CrossFit gym specifically, or at a minimum, a local service business model with a similar acquisition model. If they cannot show you the results from a comparable business, their case study may not translate into your context. Question 3, what does the content it produces actually look like? Now, ask and see sample captions, ad copy, the email sequences generated for a gym similar to yours. Read them out loud. Do they sound like a real person who does CrossFit? Or do they sound like a marketing template with your friend's name inserted? If the content is generic, it will produce generic results. Question 4, what do I own and what happens if I cancel? Again, in the age where the AI bubble is starting to get a little wobbly and stuff may just disappear, you need to know this one. Your audience data, your custom audiences, your retargeting pools, your content, who owns those when you leave? Some platforms lock your data inside their ecosystem, and you should own your audience data unconditionally. And if they cannot confirm that clearly, just be careful. Question 5, what do I still need to provide? Any honest platform will tell you that you still need to provide creative direction, brand voice, and strategic input. If the pitch is, just give us everything and we'll handle it all, that's the signal that the platform is selling automation without the intelligence that it takes to make automation work. The carpenter still has to show up. The hammer does not build the house on its own. 5 questions, and if a platform cannot answer all 5 questions specifically, keep your money. Use individual tools with intention instead. You will have more control, more understanding, and get a better chance of building something that actually compounds. And of course, we can't leave this episode without Pete. Poor post Pete. He discovered the end-to-end marketing platforms 4 months ago. Someone in the Facebook group for gym owners mentioned it, said that it was changing their life, Pete signed up that afternoon, he filled out the intake form, and he gave the platform access to his Meta account. They gave it to his Instagram, and they gave him his Google listing. He paid the monthly fee, which is never cheap. The platform started off posting for him 3 times a week. Consistent captions, decent graphics, hashtags, everything looked professional. And Pete's engagement dropped suddenly. The captions sounded like nobody he knew. The content was no specific voice, no community cells, no recognition of his actual members. And it was marketing content. It was just not his marketing content. Pete did not notice for 3 months because it looked fine on the surface, and Pete was not asking the questions on his dashboard, the 3 questions that we covered in episode 12. And when he finally looked closely, his cost per click had climbed. His follower growth had stalled, and his membership was exactly where it was the day that he signed up. The platform was executing. It was just executing a strategy that no one had actually built. Because Pete skipped episodes 1 through 12 and went straight to automation, which is tempting. It's the sexy new flashy toy. Pete's logic is that it looks so professional that it must be enough. Pete, my brother, professional looking is not the same as strategically sound. The platform gave you a polished hammer, but no one ever figured out what you were trying to build. The fundamentals come first. Always. Every time. Before the tools, before the platforms, before the automation, the carpenter has to know what they are building before the hammer can ever be picked up. So, let's recap. End-to-end AI marketing platforms have real strengths: speed, consistency, optimization, consolidated reporting, and they have real weaknesses. They will amplify whatever strategy you give them, and they're generic without significant customization. And they create a dependency without understanding. The question is not whether or not AI tools are powerful. They are. Scarily powerful. The question is whether you have the fundamentals to direct them. Because Carr was right. And outsourcing your thinking makes you dependent. And Fuchsell was right. Garbage in, garbage out. That's at every level. Use the tools, sure. Use the platforms where they genuinely service you, but never hand over your strategy. Never outsource the voice. Never let the automation replace the judgment that makes marketing actually work. In this next episode, we're going to go deep on Google and Meta. These 2 platforms are completely different approaches, and everything you need to know how to use both effectively, including what Pete boosted and why it hurt more than it helped. Subscribe, share this. The comment sections are open. You can find us at enochmarketing.com and on Instagram. If you want to build a marketing strategy built by a human who understands your business and understands the AI, and not just a platform that guesses, book a call. We will do your whole marketing humans will do your marketing for end to end. And because we have the opportunity to not charge you an arm and a leg, we won't. I guarantee you we won't charge you $30,000. Anyway, I'm Collin Charles, and this is Enoch Marketing. We will talk soon.